every model getting ready for a shoot has one habit they never skip, and it has nothing to do with starving. For years, the story was that models stay thin by eating almost nothing. That story is completely outdated. What's actually happening before a campaign or a runway show is a specific pattern built around 3 goals: reducing bloat before the cameras start, staying full without eating a lot of calories, and keeping skin looking healthy under lights that catch everything. None of it involves skipping meals. Most professional models eat between 1,500 and 2,000 calories a day, not the 1,000 or less that used to get passed around online. Their bodies need the fuel because they train, walk in heels for hours, and stand under hot studio lights for entire days, sometimes 12 hours at a stretch. Back in the 2000s, a lot of what leaked out of the industry was genuinely dangerous. Models talked about being told to survive on a few hundred calories before shows, or being weighed backstage before they were allowed to walk. That approach wrecked metabolisms, damaged hair and skin, and pushed a lot of women into disordered eating that followed them long after their careers ended. The industry has walked a lot of that back. What's replaced it is closer to what an actual nutritionist would recommend. Whole foods most of the time, protein at every meal, and a lot of attention paid to satiety, meaning how full a meal keeps you, not just how few calories it has. That distinction matters, because 2 meals can have the exact same calorie count and leave you feeling completely different 2 hours later. Start with breakfast. Victoria's secret angel Romy Stride has shown her morning routine on camera more than once, and it's the same base recipe every time. Overnight oats. She measures about 40 grams of oats, cooks them in hot water or almond milk, and mashes in half a banana while it cooks, stirring the whole time so it comes out creamy instead of clumpy. Once it's done, she tops it with blueberries, goji berries, chia seeds, a spoon of peanut butter, and a dash of cinnamon. The chia seeds and oats are both high in fiber, which is what actually creates satiety, keeping you full for hours instead of spiking your blood sugar and crashing an hour later. Cinnamon also helps blunt that blood sugar spike, which is part of why she pairs it with fruit instead of eating the fruit on its own. Before any of that, she drinks a glass of hot water with half a lemon, a ritual she says wakes up her digestion. That same lemon water habit shows up with other models too, including Shanina Sheikh and Candice Swanepoel, so it's worth trying on its own even without the oats. If you want a faster option, Miranda Kerr's banana pancakes take about 5 minutes. Mash 1 banana, whisk in 1 whole egg plus 1 egg white, add 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and cook small pancakes in a non-stick pan on medium heat until they set on each side. 3 ingredients, no flour, no added sugar, and you still get a warm breakfast instead of just a smoothie. Kerr also keeps almonds nearby as her go-to snack, which comes back later in this video. For lunch, look at Shanina Sheikh's actual reported routine in the weeks before Victoria's Secret show. She's described her diet as clean and admitted it's honestly a little boring. Vegetables and boiled eggs to start the day, then a green juice with more vegetables and fish at lunch. The idea behind it is volume eating, loading your plate with water-heavy vegetables so you're physically full before you've eaten many calories, instead of relying on something calorie-dense to get that same full feeling. You can build the same thing yourself: a big bowl of spinach and arugula, cucumber, and a piece of grilled fish or a boiled egg on top. Dress it with just lemon juice and olive oil instead of a heavy bottled dressing that's usually loaded with sodium and sugar. It's not glamorous, but it's what she says she actually eats before facing cameras for hours. Dinner follows the same logic. Miranda Kerr's typical evening meal is grilled fish with vegetables, and Candice Swanepoel's daily pattern also leans on simple proteins with produce rather than heavy carbs at night. Fish like salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which support skin that looks plump and hydrated instead of dull, something that matters a lot when you're being photographed under harsh studio lighting that catches every bit of dryness. A basic version takes 15 minutes. Season a fillet with garlic powder, dill, and fresh lemon slices. Bake it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 to 15 minutes, and steam or roast whatever vegetables you have on hand alongside it. Asparagus is a common pairing here because it acts as a natural diuretic, which is part of why so many models reach for it the night before a shoot, instead of something starchier. Snacking is where the pattern really shows up, and it's probably the part most people get wrong. Romy Stride has said she snacks a lot through the day rather than surviving on 3 big meals, reaching for things like grapes and peanuts between them. Miranda Kerr snacks on raw almonds. None of this is restrictive. And none of it involves skipping food to save calories for later. It's just small, protein or fiber-based snacks instead of anything processed. This keeps blood sugar steady instead of letting it spike and crash, which is often what actually causes that bloated, sluggish feeling by mid-afternoon that people mistake for hunger. What ties all of this together isn't some secret ingredient or a supplement. It's satiety. And every one of these models is eating in a way designed to keep them full on foods that also happen to be low in the things that cause water retention and bloating, like excess sodium, alcohol, and refined sugar. Stella Maxwell has said flat out that she doesn't believe in cutting anything out completely. And Josephine Scriver has said something similar, that it's really about paying attention to what her body actually needs, instead of following rigid rules or someone else's meal plan. That's a very different message than what used to come out of this industry a couple decades ago. And it's one that's actually backed by real nutrition science. High protein and high fiber meals increase satiety and slow digestion, which is why they work, not because they're extreme or restrictive. If there's one thing to take from this, it's that the models who talk openly about their routines aren't eating less than you'd expect, and they're definitely not starving themselves the way the industry used to demand. They're eating smarter, with more fiber, more protein, and way more water-rich vegetables spread evenly across the day, instead of restricted into one small window before collapsing into a binge. That's genuinely something anyone can copy, whether your goal is less bloating, more energy, or just eating in a way that actually keeps you full. One more thing worth mentioning, because it comes up constantly in comments on videos like this. None of these models are eating identically every single day. Romy Strayed has said herself that breakfast changes depending on how she's feeling and what she has in the fridge. And Candace Swanepoel has talked about still having a croissant or dessert without treating it as a failure. The 80-20 approach isn't a hidden rule they follow secretly while pretending to eat cleaner in interviews. It's genuinely just a loose framework. Whole foods and protein most of the time, room for whatever else the rest of the time, with no guilt attached either way. That's a big part of why this way of eating is sustainable for people whose bodies are their job, instead of something they'd have to quit after a few months. Save this video right now so you have these exact recipes ready the next time you want a clean reset day.